Oh, and then I just get that notification. Wow. Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Um, Hold on a second. Jacob, can you is right. Good afternoon, you guys. Hello to whoever is left on YouTube. This is High Priestess Jamila. Um, I was gonna come a little bit later to have this discussion, but I thought that I would come on here a little bit earlier than what was scheduled. And I was reading a couple of articles about YouTube, and you got to be careful speaking out about the jab because they'll ban your account. So I won't be discussing that on here anymore. Um, because they're banning people's accounts. There's been a couple of people that have been permanently banned and terminated for speaking out against the jab. So anyway, what else is new? No freedom of speech. I don't know. I kind of saw that coming, um, especially 6 years ago when I realized that apparently women, or at least Black women, are not permitted to relocate without being gang stalked. I want to talk about some of those experiences and how I survived being gang stalked with my parents involved with it. And we got to talk about this because um, it's one of the most horrible things that you'll ever go through if you are being gang stalked. Hello, KSK or Narwa. Hello, how are you? Hello. And the gang stalking still continues. It hasn't stopped. It's been gang stalking, rituals, um, being attacked on the full moon, being attacked on the new moon, being attacked during the Lionsgate portal. It's gotten old and it's gotten boring, in my opinion, um, because it's still an agenda that these people don't want to let go of. And so um, their latest gang stalking tactic has been to try to attack me by making it seem like somebody that I thought was in love with me is actually so in love with, this other person that he just can't sleep at night because, oh my God, she's seeing someone else. It's the theatrics that these people put on. It's extremely boring. So for me, what irritates me is the next level fakeness of everybody involved with that situation. They all know full well that I know what they're up to. They all know full well that, it's almost like they try to pretend or gaslight you into believing that this is another, that it's not gang stalking and that they're still not up to no good. So it really sucks. It does. Yeah, I am too, Sacred Angels. So I guess I'll start at the beginning when the gang stalking originally started. my mother, who is now dearly departed, um, she had began to harass me shortly after I moved out of Kansas City, Missouri, about an hour away to Kansas. So the stalking actually started then. It actually started with calling up to my kids' schools. And there was actually a false report that was put in when I was forced to pull my children out of the school because my mother had called up to the school to stigmatize me and my children. Okay, so it started then. At the time, I was vlogging, and so she was able to track everything that I do through my vlogs. And so that's how she, it's really sad when you have to keep up with your own family members in social media without having any real idea of what's going on in their lives, and to the point where your hatred for them runs so deeply that you want to see them doing bad, that you want to believe that they are failing at life, that you have to actually make up things. This is how narcissistic people are. They will create things just to make them feel better about what you may be going through. So again, the last month or so, or the last year or so, has been a fake initiative to, I guess, get me to be depressed because I guess um, Becky stole my man's heart. That's the latest lie. It's the latest. It's the latest. It's ridiculous, y'all. And keep in mind that I don't have a fear. I never had a fear of this woman being able to take anything away from me. Never, ever. But it was my mother's fear. So a lot of the things that people have seen and see, there's people that have been around since the beginning, and then there's people that just came back around. So it's almost like I have to debrief everybody with the truth so that people won't take this crap seriously. At least, one of the things is to try to isolate me by attacking me in social media, randomly attacking me, um, and then making it look like I'm somehow so upset about it and doing things that I should be very, very upset about. If it were real, I would be upset about it, but none of it is even real. I just really urge for everybody that wants to have any connection with me to stop doing fake things. If you want to try to save your connection with me, stop doing and saying fake things on youtube.com in an attempt to embarrass me. I have no reason to be embarrassed by another person's actions. Um, I guess I wasn't a strong enough woman because I wasn't able to control a person that's been gang stalking me for several years now. And so, yeah, it's extremely disappointing, especially when you have a real connection with a person and they are dead set on being completely fake. At the very least, apologies need to go out, public apologies for the harassment, for the stalking, for the recent um, gang stalking operation to gain access to my house so that he could reject me. This was the latest thing that they had done that pretty much resulted in, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what the results of that was supposed to have been. But again, they don't acknowledge the fact that they've been up to it for the past several years. They don't. They don't really acknowledge that. Every now and then the truth comes out as I pray to God that these people stop what they're doing, but it seems like they fall under regular possession or either psychosis. Okay. So, I have tried to be a voice of reason in these people's lives to say, hey, listen, I have seen this over and over again. I kind of grew up with a more diluted version of it as a child because of my parents and because of how they were. I know exactly what you're doing. Why do you do it? Why not just be real with me? It's very difficult to get through to them when they've made up in their mind that they're going to do something to you. So I've tried to be the voice of reason. I have tried to offer an olive branch and extend help to the people that I have cared about, but they continuously do this. Another latest gag is that um, is that you have to be validated through my ex, and if you're not validated through him, he's God. Then you're gonna have problems. Okay, so it's been really really annoying because we all know that that's not true. Because it's they try to make what's not real appear to be real, and this is what irritates me. And so, I have done all that I can because I already know that that none of it will prosper. None of what they're doing will prosper. And so, because I've seen it so many times, I've seen it, and I just don't care. I don't care if they have a problem with me speaking out against my father. I will do everything that I have to do alone. I don't need friends. I don't need them. Seriously, because who needs friends like that? People that are basically, it's like a weird Truman show. It's like all of these people are plotting and planning their next move against you. And then, because they feel that they can control how people see you. I'm extremely disappointed in certain people, extremely disappointed in certain people. Guys, I got to go downstairs and make coffee real quick. So I thought I had my phone charged up, but evidently I didn't. So it is very sad. It's very sad to know that people, instead of being real with you, they would rather be fake with you. They would rather fake things in social media um, with intent to hurt you. So I guess I'm supposed to be hurt because my ex won't stop talking about this irrelevant female back in Kansas City. And anyway, let's go back though. Um, so my mother actually began stalking me when I moved to Kansas. Okay, she actually began stalking me when I moved to Kansas several years ago. Okay, and we lived in Kansas. Me and my children lived in Kansas for a few years until I decided to move to Atlanta. When I decided to move to Atlanta, that is when the gang stalking got 100 times worse. Okay, I had all kinds of strange people, making videos about me. There was a campaign to send me back to Kansas. There was several smear campaigns that was done. Okay. Hold on, y'all. So there were several smear campaigns that were done to make me look like a bad person or to make me look like I was crazy. In fact, my mother came online with the gang stalkers with them. I think that they thought that they were going to get away with it. I think that they didn't. I think they felt like they were going to get away with it. They still do. They're still putting things into place to go against me, as if I would ever judge myself based upon a confused male. And he needs to just apologize and quit playing seriously, because I'm starting to get very, very impatient, especially with people. They sent 2 other women to my house last night who are also with the gang stalkers. Not last night. They sent these 2 women to my house. They were all related. I don't care what nobody says. They're all a part of the gang stalkers as well. Okay. So it's so annoying that they would go that far as to send people to your home, send people to be in your life so they'll turn out to be fake. I think whatever it is that they feel or think is going to be devastating to the heart or the mind, this is what these people do. So the entire time, going back to 2016 is when it really started. I had relocated to Georgia. Thank the goddess that I had support from the government. Without that government support, I would not have made it. I started my company the end of 2015. Was definitely being stalked almost every day in social media. Lies and just a bunch of people, this whole thing has been annoying. I would rather people be real with me. I cannot stand fake people. I cannot stand. Also, here's another thing. It was more so like an interfamilial gang stalking. So it's not like it was one of those conspiracies to where I was, running scared or I had to be afraid because the government was coming after me. Now, what they did use as a tactic was it was CPS calls. That was their favorite. That was their weapon against me of choice. Now, I'm not a drug addict. I do take care of my children and I do keep my house fairly clean. So CPS was not ever a threat to me. I ended up having to file over 50 police reports over a course of 3 years from where CPS was constantly being called to my home with false reports. This was going on all the way from 2002 since I've been down here, so 2015 going all the way to this year. CPS has been to my house twice. Okay, now I have it on good authority to know that eventually whoever is filing the false reports, trying to use CPS, is going to end up in prison. First of all, there are children out there that are really honestly being abused. There are children out there that are really honestly being neglected. And for you to waste time of government officials harassing me should always and forever be unacceptable. So they would try to use CPS to control me. Right? I'm a very intelligent woman. There will never be a time when I will have a break in reality. There will never be a time where anything that these people do will ever get me to the point where I would not take care of my children, where I would, because I would be getting stalked all day. People going live. Oh, your baby is a, they would call my son Franken baby. They would call him. They would crack jokes at my son because he is biracial. Now, keep in mind, I'm knowing where this is coming from because my mother hates white people. She does. She don't like white people. But yet she doesn't mind getting together with them or using them against her own daughter. Okay. So, my mother was extremely narcissistic. I'm not even gonna lie, like we're not going to front as if I have to, because a lot of the seeds that she planted for me on YouTube with these people were disastrous. First of all, when you have your mother doing things like that, people have a tendency to mistreat you, judge you. It was an entire conspiracy to try to get me to come back to Kansas City. For some reason, these people were obsessed with me coming back to Kansas City. They were obsessed with forcing me to live in a city that I didn't want to live in. I did I don't get it. Like, I still don't get it. Okay. And I have not went back to my hometown, not once, not even to visit because of the constant stalking. Okay. So consistently for years, it was harassment, stalking, judgment. I tried to get my oldest son, this was 5 years ago. I tried to get him enrolled in school. Evidently, some and you know what? A lot of this stuff has been well documented. It was one time I tried to get Tyrese enrolled in school, and for some reason he was not allowed to enroll in the school right down the street from us in Lithonia, Georgia. It was so bizarre. I had never seen anything like it before. Yes, I did come to social media to expose this person because I wasn't understanding that. So it was really strange. Okay, but a principal of a school has no real power. They don't have any real power. This is a school, but I had felt like somebody had called down to the school. They contact people's landlords. Okay, they will contact your landlord if they know anything about you. They will contact people. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous. These people actually don't have any real power. If you are silly enough to believe anything that they say, then the result is going to be pretty bad for you. For example, my last landlord, for some reason, I believe that they contacted him. I believe that that's the reason why he began to act funny towards me. And when I made the attempt to move out, he began to do things to attack me. So, gang stalkers, they do have some level of power, but not really, because again, weird circumstances like when I moved out of my last place, because I can't really go over those years and years of data. As far as from 2015 up until 2019 was when I had moved out of a house. It was a duplex, actually. Okay. So I put in my notice to vacate, and I also put in a complaint about there being mold in the house. And the landlord decides to file an eviction. So it was obviously a retaliatory filing that he did. This was August or September that this happened in. So there was an open case against me, which landlords should not be allowed to do this. I gave him 2 months notice. I wasn't able to find another place. I had lived there for 3 years, and I decided to move because of the mold in the house. Okay. Um, so an eviction was filed. This was pre Corona, pre Toyota Corolla. Okay, this was before all of that hit the fan. So I'm just ready to move. I'm ready to get into a place. That's why I ended up in this house, because I was looking for a place, you know what I'm saying? Because I had built up my income. My income had gotten built up to where in 2018, when I did a generational hex remover, which is why I'm telling y'all they are definitely very real. Generational hex removers work, so get them. Don't let these people convince you any other way. Okay. Now, I will tell you what you have to look out for is if you get the generational hex remover and your family members just so happen to be gang stalking you. Okay. So it's been a constant struggle with these people and they won't let it go. I have begged, I have pleaded with certain people. Do not let these people use you to attack me because they're not going to win. God is very good. And it's not going to be good for you if you continue this plight. Obviously, they're not listening. Okay, one person in particular. One person in particular that people tend to try to make it seem like he's my judge. If he loves me and is being decent to me, then I deserve everything in the world. But if he shuns me, all of a sudden I should, everybody should judge Jamila. And I'm like, why would you do that? For the love of God? Why would you do that? So there's a lot of people that need to come clean. My ancestors will always make it happen, period. So this is one of the reasons why I don't worry about certain things that they think that they are doing. Again, if you are somebody that wants to be a client, do not listen to these people ever. Okay. Now, my father is still alive. Okay. My mother is the one that passed away a few months ago. It was extremely devastating, but it was even more devastating for the gang stalking to continue after my mother had passed. So if you have a narcissistic parent that you are estranged from, it's already very difficult for them to continue. The plight of gang stalking and harassment was absolutely disgusting. I could not believe it. But one of the reasons why they did it was because my mother was actually against me. I have came on here and I've spoke several times about my mother. She actually went on people's panels, spread lies. She spread so many lies about me. She was actually working with some of these people initially to try to destroy me, to try to destroy my confidence, to force me to move back to Kansas City. Okay. So, this is something that absolutely happened. And now it seems like my father the torch has been passed to my father lately because he's sneaking around YouTube. When I realized that both of my parents were in on the gang stalking, um, was last year, it was a few years ago when I saw that they were cool with some of these people. My father confessed to me that he has been watching me get stalked, harassed, his grandchildren get roasted. My father confessed this to me, that he has been watching everything and doing and saying nothing. So you know what that says to me? That says to me that he's in on it as well. These people will do anything to control you or how people see you. Now, I don't know what their whole thing is. I don't know what the point would be to try to make my ex or my twin flame look like he's in love with my ex frenemy. That's the dumbest thing ever. That within itself has never had any power over me. She has never had any power over me. So I don't understand that, and I wish that they would just come clean with that and quit playing around with that. That's stupid. It's totally stupid because you're a fraud. You're still frauding and scamming people on youtube.com. There was so much, y'all. There was so much that happened. And I want to talk about this. I want to talk about it, and I want to ask why. Why would these people continue this plight that obviously will lead you to nothing but death and destruction? Why wasn't it that my mother's untimely death was not enough for these people to wake up? My mother died alone in her house suddenly. Why would you continue to gang stalk me after that? Why would you continue that plight? Why would you send others to gang stalk me as well? Why would you even involve yourself in something like that? Okay, why would you even why any of it from the beginning? So this entire time for 6 years these people have done nothing but try to discredit me, discredit my business, purposely try to make it look like my spells don't work, purposely make me look like I'm not an accurate reader. Nobody had look, I understand the draw to being involved with something like that. What I don't understand is actually being okay with it. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why people make the decisions at the last minute to become involved with it. Why people would give certain people this license to stalk and harass me, I have no idea. But what I will tell you is that it was my rituals, it was working with my ancestors, it was absolutely the cleanses that got me through it. That was how I survived, not even being able to depend on my own parents. Imagine having your mother work together with people to try to destroy your reputation. Imagine how it feels to have your own father watching men call you fat, watching men call you ugly, watching and enjoying a man brag about violating your body, violating your body, disrespecting you, totally disrespecting you publicly. Imagine your father watching and encouraging a man to treat you that way. And keep in mind, my father is almost 70. He's about to hit 70 if he ain't already. Imagine this happening. Imagine you looking at this person, knowing their true feelings for you, but they would prefer to be fake, and for what? What would be the draw to that? What would be the prize to that? There is none. But they continue to do it. What I believe is that it has something to do with religion and witchcraft. It has something to do with that. Imagine your parents feeding you to the wolves, and so that a bunch of people every single day can come and energy harvest off of you. Imagine how disgusting you would have to be as a parent to do that to your child. The one thing that they can never say about me is that I would ever do that to any of my children. Both of my parents are very narcissistic. I ended up having to drive my mother's spirit out of my house because even in death, she still wanted to get back at me. Now, why did this happen in the first place? Why did both of my parents end up being this way? I think that it has something to do with their connection with society. I believe that um, they felt some type of way about their lives, even though they were very lucky to have some of the things that they had. My mother used to blame me for a lot of her problems. It was always my fault. It was always my fault. Everything that happened to her was my fault because she had me at a young age, even 20 years later. If you are the result of a teenage pregnancy, right? Let's say that you are the child of a teenage pregnancy and your mother grows up, okay? You are the baby, the survivor that's in the middle of a mother that is upset with you because even though she had you, your father still didn't amount to anything in her life. And then looking at your father, he's just blaming you for his problems because you're a witch. So having two very confused people as your parent, very confused people. And I'm not even going to lie to you. And you know what? Whenever you have parents that are that screwed up, people automatically assume that you're screwed up too. They do. They automatically assume it. And this is the reason why, if you are the child of of narcissistic people, you have to be very, very, very strict about your identity. So the latest in the gang stalking regime is to still try to make me feel as though white women are better. Okay. Now, keep in mind that a part of their storyline, a part of the tactics that they use against me, which is totally ridiculous, you'd have to be a real superficial person. I am a human being that is capable of real love. The racial thing, it's not penetrating me at all. I don't feel two ways about it. In fact, the whole thing is ridiculous, and it's not been it hasn't just been one male within this gang stalking group that has tried to do that. They formed an entire coalition of people that do this, and it's all an attack against me. But I'm like, I don't care either way. I'd rather have real people in my life, people that judge people based upon their race. A black male that is so far removed from his ancestors that which is my father. My father is extremely screwed up. And he screwed my mother up. My mother was absolutely heartbroken her entire life because my father married her, turned against her, and told her that white women were better. So this was trauma for my mother. And keep in mind that my mother was not like a normal person that could just get over stuff because my mother had a horrible car accident when she was 16. Okay. So sometimes when you have things horrible happen to you, it's like an OCD thing. She was very obsessive compulsive, very. Okay. So this was something that my mother could not ever get over. For some reason, my mother's fears were used to attack me. So this is another thing when it comes to spiritually. First of all, if a black man told me that a white woman was better, I would have no feelings about it, whether or not I slept with him or not. Get out of my face. You're a jackass. Who cares? That's ridiculous. But this tactic was used against me for years and years. Why they're still doing it is absolutely ridiculous. It irritates me. And then also, colorism was another thing that my mother was big on. My mother was the same exact complexion as I am. I want y'all to listen very carefully. Okay. Everything that my ex is doing, it has something to do with my mother. Everything. Sometimes I feel like he's possessed by her because it was always, and she's done this with other men in my life. Okay. Now keep in mind, my mother's spirit has been binded. My mother actually was a necromancer. Okay. So my mother was a witch too, but she used her witchy powers against her daughter and her grandchildren. She didn't use it to battle her real enemies. She used it to battle her family that loved her. So the latest thing that these half-possessed people have been doing has been either make a non-Black woman feel very good about herself, compliment her, or a darker skinned Black woman is going to be put on the pedestal. So it's either a white woman is better than you or a dark-skinned Black woman is better than you. This is something that has been playing out in my life for at least the past 20 years. This was a game that began to get played back in Kansas City. So it's all about racism and it's all about colorism. Don't give this person any credit. Dog Jamila out because she's a light-skinned Black woman, but then say that she's not really light-skinned. Oh, well, you're not even really light-skinned. That was another game that they played. You're not really light-skinned. Well, I wouldn't care if I was light or dark. What are you talking about? These people have phobias and fears and problems and issues that have nothing to do with me. There was a guy that I was dating back in Kansas City. Let me tell y'all the story. Me and him, we were just seeing each other on a sexual basis. It wasn't like we was gonna get married. Hell, for somehow it got back to the family because I ran my mouth. Because he told me not to tell nobody, and I had no idea the depravity, the deepness of the situation. As soon as people in my family found out that I was having an affair with him, I was public enemy number one. I was being attacked. I was being berated. Okay. And then all of a sudden, when it boiled down to it, for some reason, it was that I was not to be accepted and that his mother did not accept me because I was not brown skinned. So for some reason, when certain Black people attack you, it's because for me, there's never been any light skin privilege. There's not even any white privilege. Most white people that can keep it real will tell you that I'm a white person and I've had to work hard my entire life. So none of that exists. But it does exist when it comes to gang stalking somebody. It does. It exists only with fake, fraudulent, scamocious gang stalking. They're constantly trying to insinuate that a white person is better, a white person is more important, a white person matters. This is coming from our own Black people, okay? And then also that if you're a Black person, you have to be dark skinned, otherwise you're not accepted, you're trash, and we're going to continue to dog you out, play games with you. We're going to give certain people permission. I would have rather just lived a real life with me instead of doing that stuff. But it's absolutely ridiculous. You can see it as plain as day. I wouldn't care if I was light skinned, brown skinned, orange skinned. I deserve to be treated with some level of respect and dignity and decency because I am a decent person. They get upset whenever I speak out about it. Okay, the latest has been to be a total narcissist, a total pretend to be. This is the instructions that are being handed down to certain people that I am extremely disappointed in. Be an extreme narcissist, go out in social media, talk about this person, always berate them, always talk crazy about them. But whenever the person, whenever Shani or whatever they want to call me, whenever she responds, just say, why are you disrespecting me? So it turned into a back and forth to, I'm going to totally deny what I have been doing and saying to you. And if you respond to me, I'm going to claim that you disrespected me, which is never going to work. If you're not going to be straight with me, if you're not going to be real with me, then you're not going to receive the amount of respect from me. Let's all keep it real here. Okay? So this is what it's been. I wish that this person would stop perpetrating a fraud because he has no power over me whatsoever. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I'm so sick and tired of this man coming in social media acting and playing and going along with this. And for what? And for whom is he doing this for? It's total unnecessary psychological warfare. Okay. And anytime you are so repugnant that you would go through that you would actually fraud a person and make them fall in love with you just so that you can gang stalk them, there's a problem. So I really, truly loved that man. Truly, I did. And to have him do some of the things that I've been seeing him doing, going along with that same agenda, it's so irritating. It really is. Really, honestly, I keep waiting for him to be a human being and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry I did this to you. I was wrong. The latest was to embarrass me to come over to my house so that he could reject me. I'm sitting up here, I'm like, wait a minute, we broke up 2 years ago. We broke up 2 years ago. What are you doing? I have allowed you to be around me for your own good. I don't need you for anything. Like, I don't understand these people. I really don't. So, you know how they discovered that I was powerful, still am, of course. When people discover that you have any ability or power, what do they want to do? They want to control that. So him and several other people are currently trying to control my business. A couple of months ago, they attacked my Etsy shop. That's why the Etsy shop is no longer there. And I'm asking people to still support my company, support my business now more than ever, because they completely went there with me. And see, none of this is going to go unpunished for these people. I can promise you that. Okay. The latest has been to distract everybody so that we can all look at this this white woman, evidently that everybody is in love with, and they all want to. Listen. It's a game that needs to stop being played. It's become annoying. It's all a part of the gang stalking that they continue to do. I don't know why and for whom, but this is a warning to those people. If you continue to do this, first of all, don't use my name. Don't even reference me. As long as you're, and see, this is why I told these people, stop referencing me in your videos. Don't use my name. Don't do it anymore. Don't speak my name ever. As long as you're doing that fake stuff. If it's something real, you can absolutely mention my name. Don't mention me involving any fake gang stalking initiative at all. I don't care if you don't want me. I don't care if you don't like me. It's over. Goodbye and thank you. Thank you and goodbye. You didn't have the capability of being real. You ended up being very fake. It's the reality of it. Only thing left for you to do is to get down on your hands and knees and beg and pray for my forgiveness. That's it. Okay. And so this person knows who I'm talking to. He thinks that I can't recognize everything that he's doing. And for some reason, these people always convince each male that they try to use against me that they're special. Well, you're not special because they did this with every man in my life. The only man that was man enough to deal with it passed away this year. I never forget Frankie. When me and Frankie were together, I was pregnant with his second child. He would come home and he would look so worried and he would rub his head. And I would say, "What's wrong?" And he would say, "Your family, your family." That's all he would say is your family. And keep in mind, my family don't have no power. They don't. But I think that they will convince men that they do, but in reality, they don't have no power. So he would be extremely worried. And of course, the agent, that she was a op the entire time of our friendship. It was absolutely ridiculous. And at any rate, you know, um, these new type of men who decided that for the love of gang stalking is more important than actual real love. It's absolutely ridiculous. I have been threatened in the past year. I have been pregnant 3 times in the past couple of years. Somebody is going to have to make good on that. Somebody is going to have to justify all of it. And again, at the end of the day, I'm never moving back to Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm never shutting down my company, and I'm never going to relent, ever. Okay? Not ever. So when you are out here making it on your own, it's already hard enough. But then when you have your parents actually trying to set you up for failure, what do? You do magic, you do witchcraft on them. Okay, these people are into child sacrifice. They don't mind sacrificing their own family members so that they can stay very ignorant and lazy. They hate me because I've actually shown y'all the money. I make money and I don't have to file a life insurance policy and try to do death magic on a family member. I don't have to kill family members to make money. So that's why they hate me, because their way of life is totally disgusting. They hate to think of a person that is actually able to be on the straight and narrow and actually flourish and prosper. They hate that. They hate the fact that I built a company off of goodness and honesty and strength. They hate it. Okay. They hate that. They hate that prospect. They hate the fact that, well, I've been doing all of this devastating stuff for years, scams, doing all this stuff. How dare you be on the straight and narrow and make 6 figures per year? How dare you, Jamila? How dare you give any kind of hope or inspiration to the Black community? We want to destroy Black people. How? If you're a light-skinned Black woman, I'm going to use a dark-skinned Black woman or a white woman against you. I'm going to tell you that you're not white enough, which is ridiculous. If you're a dark-skinned Black woman, I'm going to use a white woman against you. This is exactly the behavior of a lot of these possessed Black men, and they need to wake up and smell the coffee, come clean, or the ancestors are going to be at their heads. This is exactly the confusion and the chaos that is happening within the Black community. Every day, this is the games that the Black community play with each other. Oh, I don't care how I actually feel about you. I'm going to bury my feelings for you. I'm going to bury those feelings. I'm going to bury those feelings so that I can go along with an agenda. Oh, you're a light-skinned Black woman? Okay, well then I like my dark sisters. Oh, well, I like white women. Oh, well, if you're dark-skinned, I like white women. Or like they flip back and forth. They flip back and forth. They just flip, flip, flip. All of these people are confused. All of them need to do better. And all of them need to come clean about what they have been doing. Every last one of them needs to purge themselves of their sins, period. And you'll be forgiven. I'll even forgive. I'm a very forgiving person. I can see the hell that these people are going through. I never forget being on Messenger with my ex, and he was sitting on the toilet, and it was my birthday, and he was rubbing his head. He had his head downward. He was rubbing his head. What's the matter? What's wrong? I already know what's wrong. Why do you give powerless people power over you? Why? They don't have no power like that. They never have. Now, I will tell you that years ago, when I was pregnant with my first daughter, I never forget me and the father of my child. We were at home. We were watching TV. We were chilling. We were relaxing. Nothing was going on, and then all of a sudden, the police were at my door. My uncle called and filed a false report against me and my ex. There was literally no arguing going on, nothing at all. He called the police to our apartment, filed a false report. I will never forget this, never, because they are obsessed. Who cares? Who cares if they're obsessed? They have no power. There's nothing illegal going on over at my house, so I don't. You have to be stronger than that. You have to be. So I already know what's going on. It's something that I already know about. I already know about. You cannot tell me when you are carrying out this agenda that you have had no contact with any of those people in my family. You're a liar. Okay? You're a liar. To tell me that you have not contacted them, you You already know that you might as well just go ahead and come clean. The fact that you were actually really afraid of these people is what gets me. You know, this is the reason why man should not fear man. Man should fear God. Okay, every tactic that they have used against me for some reason. When I got with my ex and had my daughters, my family became obsessed with destroying all of my relationships with men. It's dumb enough to do that is not powerful. Okay, they have no pull, they have no strain, there's no government clearance, it's nothing like that. But yet people will play subservient to these people. Why, I don't know. Why? Because you're intimidated because it's more than one person? Clearly, God is trying to prepare you with my situation. Because please believe that most of these people are not going to be able to avoid the same treatment from their own. Trust me. This whole thing that I've been going through with, you know, having feelings or lukewarm feelings for a man and him acting like, oh, well, you're not dark skinned, so I can't be with you. Oh, well, that to me, it's been done. It's been done before. I can tell you to date, from what I can see, that the best man in my life was my daughter's father. Because, he didn't care. He was going to marry me anyway, regardless of the crap that my family was doing. He was a good man. He would have never carried out that agenda against me, ever. Now, I think that towards the end, when he took my daughters back to Kansas City, because he came up here, he picked them up and took them back down there. I think towards the end of his life, which has been in the last several years, I think that he kind of slipped out of reality because he told me that he wouldn't survive without me. I was a 20-something-year-old woman. Just, there was a lot that I knew about the situation that was going on, but I didn't actually realize it until, oh, Deja and Danielle was about 3 or 4 years old. Tyrese was about 5 or 6, was when I realized the family conspiracies. Okay. So the point is that I want to tell you this. Number one, when it comes to healing, when it comes to breaking those strongholds, now I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes when you get the generational hex remover, sometimes when you get that, your father or your mother will continue to try to hex you. Sometimes it's your own parent that exists and they're alive. They have a conspiracy going against you. Right now, my father is trying to carry out all kinds of things. He thinks that he has control over my love life. I can promise you I'm going to get married and nobody even has to say hello to you. These so-called traditional values does not apply to narcissistic people. My father is a total narc. He's a covert narc. He's been watching all of this covertly. He has had nothing to say about the treatment of his daughter, and he claims, and I know that this is the reason. It's because I practice witchcraft. So, that's how he justifies sitting back and watching several men in social media disrespect your child. But in reality, it's simply because I believe that these men are under possession. Anytime you're a grown man and you're literally attacking and yelling and screaming at a woman, anytime you're trying to carry out an agenda against a woman and her children, they came on here during the Lionsgate. They came on here with a crazy ass crappy ritual where this man was berating me and going through all of these changes. It has no power, not really. And actually, if y'all believe in that crap, you might as well just say goodbye. He has been purposely, and what's sad about it is that I healed him, literally healed his body. He insists on coming on here, big upping everybody else except for me. He talks about me like I'm a piece of dirt while uplifting everybody else. And he knows that's what he's been doing. And it is extremely alarming to people that are looking at the situation. It's extremely alarming. What are you doing? What did I ever do to you? Nothing. It's just that I've got to be a part of this conspiracy against you. And I'm like, well, are you trying to make it look like my spells don't work? Because you never were in my life because of a spell. You were in my life because of fate. And I can't control that man. Nobody can. It's been a conspiracy that has been going on for years. So just because you see my ex frenemy dealing with one of the other men, he's got his own conspiracy going against me where I have no idea. I've just been asking him to be honest about the situation and come clean. It's not like it's a big deal. There is no deity or God or government agency that is forcing these people to do what they're doing. They're doing it out of their own pettiness. Okay. So, to be honest with you, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you about the situation. I have completely let go and moved on from that situation completely because you can see that people make their obvious choices. And it's not just about making a choice of choosing a woman or choosing me. It's about the fact that when you decided that you didn't want to be with me, that you decided that you were going to come back and carry out a revenge against me. You decided that you were going to be vengeful against me, somebody that lifted you up. So you basically repaid my kindness with hatred. So while these people judge me as a witch, they're going completely against what God, I guess their religion, is supposed to be saying to them. I have no idea. Like, it's so bizarre. Stop trying to pretend that you're a normal person that came into my life. You came into my life under false pretenses. A lot of them did. That's why they went right over there to that sector and began to harass me. Came into my life under false pretenses and decided they were going to go out there and try to make me look bad. But a lot of the stuff that they said was so childish and immature. It was so childish. It made no sense. These people have no power. It's all about holding on to what my parents are telling them to do. My father, for some reason, if a black woman did not do exactly what he said to do, he would always throw a white woman up in her face. He literally tortured my mother mentally, spiritually, and physically her entire life because my mother was a business owner and a dancer. He screwed with my mother so much that she felt that her own daughter was her enemy. So that's how my mother ended up turning against me because of my father. My father is still my own father. Now, keep in mind that he has to do what God permits him to do, only what God permits him to do. So you're going to tell me that you're going to try to justify this? And so I'm supposed to only be validated by a man that was already stalking me, that was already a part of your gang stalking conspiracy. He's the one that has to validate me. And we're supposed to hold on to how he feels about me. If he comes in social media and says, well, Jamila's mentally ill, then everybody's supposed to believe that Jamila is mentally ill? Or am I just the only one brave enough and strong enough to tell the truth and speak my truth? And the ancestors and God is not going to let anything happen until people come clean and tell the truth. What's the worst that can happen? They're going to order 50 pizzas to your house. Oh, they're going to go in social media and roast you. Jesus. You know, a roast online is not a threat. You know how many times I have went through being roasted by several people at once? If anything, being roasted unearths your power. If anything, you have to transmute that stuff. So me being a survivor of this and knowing and being able to see everything that's going on, one of the reasons why my ex is so flippant with me, no man has ever treated me that way. Never, never, ever. You'd have to be a monster. You'd have to be totally disconnected from your emotions to even do that. No man has ever mistreated me that way. It is because he knows that my father is okay with it. And that's no excuse. Narcissistic people always work two-sided. At the same time, my father is testing you, and but then again, he's using you at the same time. So obviously, you're not a man that would be good enough for me for you to mistreat me because he told you to. He wants me to be with a man that's going to treat me well, even if he directs you to mistreat me. You're supposed to have enough sense to not go against me. And that's exactly what this man has done. And everybody in social media judges me because of it. And I'm sick of it. I have a family to feed. I have children to take care of. I don't have time for this anymore. I don't care what conspiracy you are involved with. A conspiracy has nothing to do with authentic witchcraft. It's not authentic. to get together with a plight and a plan. They get in these group chats, they make plans. They're in their group chats right now, making plans of what they're going to do, their counterattack. There is no counterattack. There is no fighting this. You cannot fight with the truth. You cannot fight with God and what God wants. They have completely and totally violated and went against God in spirit, because if God never wanted me to move out of that town and to come over here, it would have never happened. I wouldn't still be here 6 years later. They sent agents to come to my house to try to curse my house. Nobody has to validate anybody. If my father is a 70-year-old maniac, you should have enough sense to not mistreat me just because this maniac has a problem with me because he had a problem with my mother. I saw my mother go through all kinds of stuff because of my father. You want to know why my father continued this plight against his own daughter? Because of jealousy. My father is a covert narcissist. Narcissistic fathers are jealous of their daughters and their sons. They're jealous. They want to make life harder on their own children. They've given up on life. I sit here every day and perform miracles just within my company while these men float around and do nothing. And it irritates me when they say, "Oh, Jamila, you look a little haggled." Oh, you think? Maybe perhaps because I'm doing the job that 100 men should be doing. And I have been that strong enough. The times that they have kind of gotten me down, that I've came on here and discussed it, they tried to make me feel bad for it. 100 men, basically, which their numbers have dwindled. So these men and these other people that were against me because of either jealousy, hatred, or probably possibly racism, they felt as though they were going to come against me, because I'm going to tell you, they're all working together. And it's stupid. It's done nobody any good. And you know what? If you are a person that is, because me telling the truth does not hurt this man. It doesn't. You tried to set this up to where you were going to be, you have to validate me. So last week I came on here and I said, listen, I don't have time to play around. It's almost like they want to stick me in the corner, lower me, and lower my value. Please explain to me why you would think that that the ignorance of a man against a woman would ever lower her value. All women are not prostitutes. So he came on here and tried to make it seem like, I guess my love wasn't good enough. Well, I'm not having sex with my clients. I'm doing spiritual work for them. What are you doing? What does this have to do with what we're talking about? What does one have to do with the other? I have been forgiving. I have been understanding, but it is over with that. I have bills that come to this house every month that have to be paid, and they will get paid. You think any of those men are going to do it? No, they're not. This is the reason why you cannot depend on men. You can't. They're totally undependable. They will purposely, this man came to social media and decided, I am powerful enough to purposely try to destroy you and what you built based upon whether or not I love you or not. Well, what are we dealing with? The sea? Are we dealing with the sea monster Ursula? And do I have to prove to Ursula? Y'all remember that episode of Charmed to where Ursula said that she was going to take the mermaid's power away from her and kill her if she couldn't come on the land and find a man to love her. That's not what we're dealing with. I'm not a mermaid at all. I'm a witch. I'm trying to figure out, it seemed like these people have went down every episode of Charm to inspire their attacks against me. And they expect me to stop for me to not survive for them. I guess I'm supposed to just sacrifice myself for you. Well, you know what? Maybe you won't be sick. Maybe you won't be tired if you just get rid of that, release that off of your chest, come and tell the truth about what you've been doing. It's the only thing that's going to save you. It's out of my hands. Me bowing down to you or saying, sir, I'm this, and that, that's not going to help you. What's going to help you is if you come clean about what you have done. You'll feel better, trust me. But they won't do it. They continue this plight. Now that this maniac, another maniac, is supposed to be traveling to go and see this woman, now they're going to all weekend long make it seem like my ex is bothered by this man going to see this woman. It's totally ridiculous. I would suggest that all of y'all ignore it because all of them are under the possession of stupidity. What's left of my following, what's left of them, please ignore these people. Ignore my ex, ignore Mike Mills, ignore him, ignore his obvious acting and pretending as if he cares about, oh, I'm going to spend hours online. It's all about trying to attack me. You know, the last couple of times he spent hours online, hours and hours and hours and hours upon hours, supposedly obsessing about this woman that he doesn't actually care about, but he'll come to YouTube and act because he thinks that it discredits me. Why? Even if you were that stupid, trust me, there would be no spell that I could do to take that out of you. That's something you would have to do for yourself. So all of it is always meant to be an attack on me. Even if they're trying to be nice to me, it's always an attack on Jamila. That's why they're here. It's ridiculous. So I already know what's about to happen. That's just like last year when they traveled down to see them. I guess it was supposed to make me look bad because he came online yelling and screaming about her having sex with this other guy because she's so great and wonderful, right? That was supposed to discredit me. How? Everything you see in that sector is made up. It's not even real. It's all meant because I'm going to tell you something. Your Black family members, your Black friends, every time you try to build anything, they want to tear it down with some kind of pettiness. Not all Black people. Some Black people are actual builders, but these are ignorant, low-level tactics to what? Make it seem like first of all, I'm not on here selling vagina. I guess if I were on here advertising my vagina for sale, I guess it would make her look like a better woman than me because, you know, I'm not advertising that. So these men are very lowering anyway. No woman should be okay with that. It's very, very, very demeaning to the divine feminine. Very. Am I embarrassed because my parents are trolls and stalkers and covert narcissists? No. Why should I have to be embarrassed? Why should you have to be stigmatized because of the actions of anybody that you know? Nobody should have to do that. Ain't nothing more important than the truth. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what they're planning to do. If this guy's car actually makes it to Kansas City, what's gonna happen is that my ex is gonna go live acting crazy over this woman that he's never met. And for what? So that you can please my father, and so that he can spit on my mother's grave over and over again? Is that why you're doing that? Is that why you're going to do that all weekend? This is what they plan to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what they plan to do. They plan to use my ex, who I don't even really consider to be my ex no more because it's been just nothing but fake. Like for a minute I suspected that they cloned this person, or either I don't know what happened. You know, you as a man, you have to support and take care of yourself spiritually all weekend, and he's supposed to be married. All of it is an attack on me, even though he's supposed to be married. But his wife ain't on YouTube, so it reflects poorly on me because I guess I can't keep his attention long enough, and I'm not good enough as of a woman. And then, oh yeah, keep in mind I'm old. I'm old. So you're old and you're ugly and you're fat and this and that. It's so childish. You know, anybody that would fall for that, you've got to question yourself. So this is what they plan to do. This is the reason why I'm even talking about this in the first place. Listen, here's my direct plan. My direct plan is to get my rent paid. My direct plan is to get the rest of my bills paid. My direct plan is to meet people totally unrelated to any of this group of people, totally unrelated to them, because I'm going to be screening people from here on out so that I can live life away from these people. I am so sick of my ex, whom I loved very much, still do, still do. But for him to make himself a part of that conspiracy is a damn shame. You have no idea what you passed up over here. This is your loss whenever you get through. But I don't need a man to make it. Hello, TA. I don't need a man to survive. Even on YouTube, he's came over here and tried to throw himself all over every woman that he could and tried to make it seem like every other woman matters to him except for me. When in reality, it's not about the woman. It's about God. It's about doing what's right by God. It's about telling the truth. It's about being honest. instead of carrying out this agenda against me, which involves this lady that I don't even, y'all, it's so ridiculous. The reason why she looks or appears to, I guess I have no idea what her special powers are supposed to be, but they make her look that way because these black males have something against all black women. Hey, DRW, they have something against all of you. So a lot of y'all black women that follow behind these men, do you realize how foolish you look? Y'all think y'all in like Flynn. These black men are trying to destroy and dog out all black women, all of us. You okay with him doing some of that stuff to me, then you're okay to it happening to you. Because what he should have did and what he should have said was that I'm not with her anymore. I had a good time. It's over. But because he was a part, he decided to be a part of that agenda where there's promises being made, but no money is actually going to exchange hands. Trust me, I have made more money than any of these men on YouTube. The problem with a lot of black men is that they are so focused on trying to destroy the black woman that they don't even see how it negatively and directly affects them. They don't want to see that. You didn't think in your mind that it would more so benefit you to be on my side? No. So this is what they do. This is what they do. And I cannot do fake. I cannot do it. If I were to actually forgive this man and let him back into my life, I would have to know exactly who he spoke to in my family. I would have to know exactly what's going on. He would have to tell me everything. Otherwise, there is no way that I would ever trust him again. Not ever. Because, and see, for some reason, people that didn't know about this situation or didn't know me prior to me coming to YouTube, they didn't realize that the same game that has been played, that is being played out on YouTube, is the same exact story of my disastrous and ignorant parents and their love story. The same exact thing. Why do we keep seeing this over and over again? This repetitive cycle. Nobody wants to see it. Get it together. It's just been over and over again. The consciousness of my parents. My father's tactic on controlling his woman was to say that white women were better. This is the same exact tactic that these men in that sector and in social media are using against me specifically. The same tactic. Let me tell you something. My father screwed my mother up so bad. My mother was the same exact complexion as me. My mother would purposely make herself darker. Why would you need to do that? She would put on red, dark makeup all over her face. When she would wash her face, she was lighter skinned than me. Why can't you just be yourself? Why can't we just be ourselves and be real? Why do we all, why does it have to be unauthentic? Why? Who loves somebody based upon the color of their skin? Who loves somebody based upon any of that crap? Whether or not they're white or black. Nobody loves that way. You think when I fell in love with that man that it had and what's so sad is that the soul is somewhere else. Like, for you to allow these people to do this to you and then to turn against me and to not trust me or have any faith in me when I've shown you nothing but the business. I have shown this man nothing but extreme power every single time for you to continue to go along with this low vibratory crap is so annoying. And it's been a continuing of it. And there have been people in social media that have directly benefited from the consciousness of my confused parents. My entire life growing up was so traumatic because of the confusion of my parents, them fighting, them being petty, the war of the roses. They never once stopped to think about how this is going to affect our daughter. In fact, they directly put it all on me. So instead of me being able to just fall in love with whoever I'm supposed to, have my children live a good life, it's been nothing but constant bull crap and struggle that doesn't even make any sense. My father has no credibility. My mother has no credibility. She doesn't, because we all know what she tried to do. None of these people that are doing their bidding have any credibility. None of them. All of them are self-depreciating. When they try to lower me, they lower themselves. Every time they try to curse me, they curse themselves. I don't understand why any authentic witch would even go along with that. Because we practice real witchcraft over here. All that fake made up stuff, I'm going to make myself look powerful because your man is flirting with me. Stop it. These people need real rituals. They need real stuff. And see, a lot of y'all don't realize that even those of you that seek out witches, the reason why these undercover agents will screw your life even more is because they feel like you should be punished just for seeking out witchcraft. While at the same time, all of you are under witchcraft. The reason why you can't get ahead, the reason why you're having all those issues is because of witchcraft. And so you're going to have to do witchcraft to undo the witchcraft. You're going to have to. Why on earth any man would decide in this day and age to become a part of a witch hunt is totally ignorant. I have urged this man over and over again, please, for the love of God, would you please just go and come clean? Please just admit to what you've been doing. Please don't go along with this fake stuff again. Please don't. Please. Is he going to do it? I have no idea. I tell you what the best revenge would be is for me to meet a normal man. You know, while you're spending hours and hours acting, going along and playing along with this bad acting, while you're doing that, I should be over here laid up with a man with some money. That would be the perfect revenge. But I'm not trying to get revenge. I just want the truth to be revealed. They are so removed from any reality. So please do not judge me based upon my ex. Don't. If you watch him and you're on his side, stay on his side. If you watch me, then you can be on my side. Do not ever doubt my power because of this dude. I'm so sick of that. I am so sick of it. Trust and believe that he goes through hell every single day being separated from somebody that showed him nothing but love, because all he gets over there is nothing but fake love and hate. And please believe that I don't have to do a love spell. It will be a natural occurrence that when the hate overflows, he will have nowhere else to run to except for here. Now that's the real aspect of it. His little games that he's playing mean nothing. It's time for Ursula to go back underneath the bridge. Go back underneath the waters, Ursula. Trying to make it seem like this man has to be falling all in love with me for me to be considered to be a powerful witch. So they move the goalposts all the time, but they are not the judges. They are not the jury. They have no power. Let me tell you a witch that has power. A witch that has power is going to be able to manifest a house with over half an acre. I'm the one that has the power. These other witches, the only thing that they can do, and I'm sorry, I got to put it out there, is, it doesn't prove that you're a powerful witch just because Mike comes online and says that you're pretty. Trust me, all of you will be homeless if you try to go by that. If you foolishly go over there and say, well, Mike is oh, wow, those witches are powerful. Wow, look at how they have Mike. You'll end up homeless within 6 months, trust me. And for them to try to build off of my back, no. You have to build off of real witchery, and that's not real witchery. It's not. It's fake. It's the same game they've been playing for years. The only way that you're going to be seen as a real witch is if you show respect for High Priestess Jamila. Otherwise, Mike cannot give you any power. He does not have that power. Period. And I'm getting sick and tired of, which is why I'm confronting them head on. You going on his show talking crazy or not talking at all, and then him coming on there saying, yeah, actually, the truth of the matter is that their biggest common enemy, I'm the one that has been destroying them. My ex will give all of the praise to these other witches that ain't doing nothing to them. They don't have no power, but he'll go over there and give them praise. Well, if she had power, wouldn't she be able to get a house on her own? No, she hasn't. So that's what he's been doing, and it's been really irritating. You come over here to Hecate and you stand up to these men, then you'll get somewhere. Otherwise, you get nothing. I have had some of these women in social media literally try to build themselves off of me, but while disrespecting me. You are never going to build on Goddess's green earth while disrespecting her and spitting in her womb. Never. These people have got to show some respect to the divine feminine. They've got to show some respect to the witches. Going over there on that man's platform is a direct disrespect to every witch on this platform while he's being a fraud. And I'm not playing with him. He already knows I'm not playing with him. So a lot of y'all think, oh, God, they've got some powerful magic. Look at how look at how they're controlling. Why doesn't Jamila have control over him? He had an agenda against me from the beginning, and he wasn't smart enough to stop his agenda. Don't doubt me or lose faith in me because this man was not smart enough to discern. Trust me. Trust me. All that cash money stuff he's talking, it's futile. It's futile. The only way that he is going to ever be honored and respected as a man is if he shows me some respect. That's it. Not my father, not my mother, and the childish games that my parents played with their own daughter, not anybody else, not any of those other people. He's got to show respect for me, period. Otherwise, what he says and does means nothing to you or me. Nothing. And he ain't even got to like me. You ain't got to like me, but you will respect me, in the words of I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. The way he tried to take over my business, the way he tried to take over my company, the way he tried to take over, the only power that he has is within his love for me. And if he ain't showing me no love, then he is powerless. In fact, the only thing that does have power is genuine love and respect and kindness. He didn't give that to me. He's been on here attacking me every time he feels like it. Every single time. It makes no sense. So what does he do? He tries to assert his dominance. That my whole thing about it is that the people that stumble across our videos on YouTube, they need real answers and they need real authentic rituals. They don't need somebody just burning candles. They don't need somebody trying to prove to the public that they are the all powerful. First of all, witches, we do not depend on men to make us look powerful. Look, in my lifetime, if I am lucky enough to find a man that is strong enough and powerful enough to be with me, then that will be wonderful. Otherwise, on this earth, not only am I going to survive and prosper, but so will my children. Period. And that has been promised by Lilith, Hecate, and Kali Ma. There's nothing that they can do about it. I mean, these people were actually silly enough to be trying. They tried to destroy a deity by making Hecate look less powerful. They tried to destroy a deity. Who does that? And then they'll come and they'll say something about Jesus Christ. I'm going to give a news flash to men. You would not be walking around this earth if it were not for a woman. I don't care about science. I don't care about the fact that they are actually producing human clones that they're trying to do. They're literally like, it's a huge agenda right now. It's sad. Whenever men are reminded of that, you had to be begotten of a woman to have a soul, period. You would not be here. Jesus Christ would not be here if it were not for his mother. You men would not exist if it were not for a woman taking up with a man, copulating with him, or whatever you call it, and giving birth to you. This is what they don't realize. While you disrespect women with your games and your crap, and we are all tired of it, you are not going to be given any respect, any accolades, if you are not respecting the divine feminine witches. Because a lot of these women that they give praise to, they don't claim to be witches. That's why that's why they praise them so much, because they're not saying that they're witches, because they're not. So, at the end of the day, If y'all want to continue to watch my ex, yeah, keep watching him. The only way he gets any credibility is if he shows me some respect. That's it. Otherwise, he lost all his credibility with the actions that he has been doing for the past year. All of his credibility is gone until he shows me some respect, and his woman too. Because not only was I paying my bills, but evidently I was paying his bills too. And you don't even have enough respect to not bite the hand that fed you. That don't even make no sense. Totally in a confusion. Thinking that because it's more than, I remember the saying that he used to say, you need more people. He says that to people. Oh, I don't believe you. You need more people. Well, since when does your opinion actually matter? The only person that gave you credibility, you dogged that person out, which was me. Completely and totally, when I hooked up with him, gave him all the credit in the world, gave him all the respect. He had so many women dropping to their feet for him, and he didn't even have enough sense to show me an ounce of respect the whole time. Well, actually, he did, but for some reason last year, he done went and flipped and thought that them doing these sex magic rituals was going to be more powerful than me. I couldn't believe it. So he's been running around the internet trying to pretend as though, I guess he's supposed to be, he's supposed to be, subservient and begging this woman who just so happens to be white. And I'm supposed to be just a piece of crap. And, the white woman wins because she's white. Stop it. Please stop. These people need real care. These people need real healing rituals. These people need authentic. Stop it. And see, the reason why I'm admonishing him right now is because he has tried to be a direct obstacle in people that need my help actually getting it. I work with white deities, so I'm not racist, I'm not prejudiced, but they try to automatically stick the black woman in a mammy role, which, it just stop it. As if I'm mammy and I got to bow down for this white woman that ain't even nearly a goddess at all, has no power whatsoever. Because your power has nothing to do with whether or not you're white or black. I'm so sick of these games being played. And he's going to have to answer to that. So my question to him is that if this clown actually makes it to Kansas City, are you going to be crying all week over some fake stuff? Or are you going to actually pay attention to the real people in your life? He could have been making love, healing people. Instead, he's spending hours playing this game, thinking that he's going to do something. It's totally ridiculous. If you notice, do you think that it's normal behavior? Have y'all actually looked at the way that any of those people behave and think that it's normal? What did y'all think, that Tiffany was some all-powerful God who's, snatching people's souls and taking everybody's man? Come on now, stop. This is him trying to use that. And I'm like, well, why would you think that that would make a difference? Because he wants to destroy everything that I built. And probably by next week, he'll be on something totally different. I built my company by myself before I even knew him or met him. He had nothing to do with that, and he still has nothing to do with that. This is exactly the problem that Black women have been complaining about with these clowns. They will come out in social media, they will go out in the world and do the dumbest stuff and think, oh, I'm reflecting poorly on you. What? I'm sick of it. And he's not going to pass my wealth on to nobody. My grandmother has said it. This is, and I'm telling y'all, this is all of my ancestors. My grandmother and my great grandmother, who were both witches, they don't appreciate the way that my ex tried to pass my wealth, my family wealth, my birthright to somebody else that has no idea even how to manifest it. They don't have the secret key to my wealth because they're even family doesn't. Even family that would operate that ignorantly does not have the key. They don't. He's tried to pass my wealth to other people and they still have nothing. In the meantime, there are people out there that need rituals that are being, and see, I'm going to tell you something. I've been very concerned about him. Please don't allow yourself to be a part of that, please. Because these spirits and my ancestors are not playing with you. They're not. They're not playing with this man. One of the reasons why my grandmother crowned me, because she knew what I had to do. He's been trying to interfere spiritually with what I am doing on here. And he's got to stop. Period. He has his own plight and the things that he's trying to do. So I'm dealing with several different situations at once, and I'm on top of all of it. Trust me, I am on top of all of these people. I don't need more people. I don't need more sheeple, Mike. I have the entire spiritual freaking everything right here for me. And what's left for him to do is to come clean. That's it. Now, we all know that for some reason with Black men, they have this thing to where, they turn against their own women. And as soon as they get a little bit of money in their pocket, they go to other races of women, is what they do. So basically, what they will do is they will build wealth with the Black woman's bones and skulls and blood and skin. And then they'll disgrace Black women by going and saying, I'm going to go and give my wealth to a total. And you know what? And it makes no sense. So this is not about racism. This is not about that. This is about my birthright. This is about what my spirits meant for me. He will never have the power to give that away to anybody else. If you notice, everything that they have done in the past year did not work. It'll never work for them. Never. But they'll get an E for effort, but they're going to get an L for loss. So that's why they switched up the narrative. Now they've went somewhere totally different, while at the same time, he's still turning on his camera, disrespecting me. No, not only am I not crazy, hon, I'm not mentally ill at all. In fact, I'm one of the only mentally sane people that has anything to do with any of this situation. I would suggest strongly for the love of Goddess, that he stops doing that. My spirits were very upset about it, but they did not react until today. I had to sleep on it to get some downloads, and they are going to handle him for continuously trying to disgrace my name. Thank you, Ziana. Appreciate that. I don't want any of these. Listen, I've had, if you contact me as a client, you have to disclose to me if you have been watching this whole debacle. You have to disclose that to me. Otherwise, if you're a client, you know that the spells and the rituals that I'm going to do for you are going to set you free. You already know that I freed myself. They trying to make you believe that the slaves have not been freed, which is there's no deity or ancestor that are backing these people up. They are completely on their own with that one. The only reason why I even met up with him is because I removed a couple of generational curses from myself. It's the only reason why I was even open to him to act a fool. Otherwise, I would have been isolated, which, choosing him was for a reason. That reason was not so that he could destroy me, destroy my company, do anything to me. He needs to stop allowing people to do that. Stop having this stupid conspiracy against me. Stop it and tell the truth. Otherwise, until he tells the truth, which is that, I personally feel that he decided that he fell out of love with me, which is fine. That doesn't give you the right to come back to social media and call me out of my name and try to disgrace me. This is something that Black men are going to have to stop doing. Because 9 times out of 10, it was that Black man that made that mistake. I have done nothing to that man from the beginning. He kept floating back and forth, flip juicing on me. And now it's gotten to the point where the games have got to end. Game over. Okay, game completely over. Mm-hmm. Well, you can see obviously, Latoya, that the way that they do it doesn't work. Because he was trying to steal my power, steal my energy, which you can't do that. So then he said, I'm going to go around in front, and then I'm going to just completely and totally disrespect you while playing victim. And no woman should be on his side with that. Because if it were not for the woman, these men wouldn't even be here walking around. And then they'll say, oh, well, I don't care about my life. You should have never had me, so I'm still going to act a fool. And if you are a man that is in on that agenda against a woman, I would suggest that you not be on that agenda. Because I'm not weak at all. Trust me, when I first got to Georgia, I was on my own for 4 years straight without any walking or talking man except for my son. And as a woman, the only man that you can truly trust is your son. sometimes, because the rest of them are playing a game. And this childish, immature game that he has been playing has probably been interfering with people getting the work that they need to get done. Which means that because a part of the generational curses that are on Black people does have something to do with slavery. It absolutely does. So he's going to have to stop. Every single show that he does, one show that he did the other day, he called me a nutcase. You know, and I'm going to tell you historically that when these men can't explain, because, you know, I mean, he'll go down in history as being the most, when they can't explain something, they just say that it's crazy. They're jealous of the fact that a woman is intelligent to make sense of it, that we're intelligent enough to make sense of what's happening in the world. All they say is that it's crazy. The women are the ones that are doing all of the work. We are doing all of the work, and we should be praised because of that. Because his explanation is that it's just crazy. That's crazy. You notice how people say, "Ooh, that's crazy." Who is crazy? Something happened. Ooh, that's crazy. Surely these people have the ability to think deeper than what they are thinking, but they don't want to. They want to remain ignorant. Okay, they want to remain ignorant. In fact, my father did not want my mother to buy a house without him, and they were divorced. I can't stand men like my father. My father knows exactly, and he's watching, trust me. He completely tried to destroy me and my mother's life with his crap. In the meantime, these kids, what they want to do is they want to eat. They want a roof over their head, literally trying to compromise my roof over my head is what he's been trying to do. You know how many eviction spells and curses these people have tried to hurl at me that I've had to hurl back at them. And don't no woman got to be subservient to another woman either. You know, those women that came down here pretending to care about and love the witch and Hecate, they don't. They don't. Trust me. So, you know, really, to be honest with you, the only real people that are in my life are my children and my clients. Y'all are the ones that matter. That's what they try to do. They try to make it look like it's something that it is not. That's how they do. They pretend. But you know, my ex is gonna have to show me some respect because you know there was several times that I had healed him and even saved his life. So he's gonna have to come clean about all of that. He was over there playing a game the other day, talking about I think so and so would make a pretty witch, as if he's gonna like he's trying to take away my essence or the person that I am from me. You know what? If he's not careful, he'll never be forgiven for it either. Okay, trust me, I don't care about the sad puppy dog look. I'm about my business. I have way too many plans. Way too many plans. You know, I plan to take this further. I plan to take this further to where I actually have a shop that I want to put up. I have been thinking about, since the government does not mind giving me funding, I've been thinking about getting some government funding to put up my shop finally. Okay, an actual real brick and mortar building. Okay, and I thought about doing crowdfunding on it too, but you know, these men in social media, they get so butthurt about free money that they probably be plotting my murder or something if I were to raise about 300 grand to put up my witchy shop. They would probably go nuts. Okay. And then also I'd like to do the spa. Okay, eventually. I never said that a man had to buy me my lake house. I'll buy my own lake house. They try to come at you all cheap. I can't stand cheap and chinchy men. That was one of the things that my grandmother could never stand about my father. She could never stand that about him. He was so cheap and chinchy. And you can tell that my father has something to do with it, because one of those fake fraud witches said something that was very interesting that they would have only gotten from my father. I don't have enough sense to put oil in my car. That's something that my father would say. So my father and my mother, before she passed away, was giving direction on things that you assume would trigger me. Why in the hell? I'm a grown ass woman. Why would I care about that? Why would I care about that? Hey, say this to her. This will really get to her. Why? I'm not 5 years old. I'm not 20 something years old. I'm a seasoned woman. What are you talking about? Well, I appreciate that, Latoya, because it's coming up now. I gotta go though, because I gotta follow up with some people. Thank you for coming. We are watching all of these people very closely. I can tell you that they would have done themselves a better service had they not been trying to come after me. These people have given up everything that they could have had. I mean, they could have really, really been something. These people could have really had something good on here, but they were so dead set on and yeah, my mother was a powerful witch that could glamour people. She also was very, very well versed in spiritual possession. I've seen my mother take possession of several people in my life before, but never has it ever been able to override my love. Never. So, I think the reason why my mother was so against me is because she was against my father. Narcissistic parents have a tendency to turn on you because of your parent. Now, most of us real mothers out there, I don't care about who your father is. You're my child. But somebody like my mother, she did that for you. And I don't care if they have something to say about me. I'm not speaking ill on my mother. I'm just telling the truth about what she did when she was alive. I'm so happy that she's resting now at this point. I'm so happy that my mother is resting. But I have a sense that my father is and you know what? Here's another thing. Those may not even be my real parents. Did y'all ever think about that? I'm not even sure if they are my real parents. It's a possibility that they may not be. A lot of y'all with parents that are narcissistic, they may not be, you may not even be related to those people. Okay, you never know. I never saw any, I know that my mother's name is on my birth certificate misspelled. I can show you my birth certificate. Her name ain't even spelled right. And my so-called father that's been stalking people in social media and trying to direct them towards me, he's not on my birth certificate at all. So I don't even consider him to be my father. Yeah. After they attack me mercilessly, attack me, try to break my heart on purpose, try to energy harvest from me, attack my children. Then when I come on here and say, hey, donate to me, I need donations, you'll say, oh, look at her begging. After gaslighting, after they have literally tried to destroy everything about me. But please believe that I will always be a phoenix rising from the ashes. No matter what they do, I am the phoenix rising from the ashes every single day. And I have the right to my birthright. I'm not saying that I'm on here to take away from nobody else. If it's another witch that gets a client, then get a client. I'm saying what is meant for me is mine. And they need to quit trying to take from me, because these people are factually thieves. And I don't understand why my ex has to try to practice spiritual thievery when he has his own power. And when I told him about his power, he tried to use it against me. Why would you do that? I can bind your power. It makes no sense. But all I know is that my clients that need my help, the people that I am meant to help, they are not, and my children are not going to suffer any longer because these people can't find their own north. Now, I wonder what his reaction is going to be. Okay, because I'm tired of this. I am. And the last thing that I want to say to my father is this, is that it is a damn shame for you to be so narcissistic that you would work behind the scenes to try to ruin everything that your daughter built. Now I see why my mother hated you passionately, but only pretended to have respect for him for my benefit. But it did not benefit me at all. She should have just told me the truth. She was telling me the truth for a while, but she got scared. I'm not afraid of my father at all. When you become an adult, you're no longer afraid of your parents. If you are afraid of your parents as an adult, then they done put some kind of hoodoo on you. So at the same time, this man is placing false judgment on me, my father, for being a witch, while he goes to witches to try to do harm to me. And the fact that you give permission to grown men to verbally abuse and try to verbally assassinate your own daughter is going to be your judgment and your weakness, as well as his. Because I could see it all of they don't think I can see all of these associations. They don't think I can see it. I can see it very clearly. And it's bull crap. And all of them better straighten up and fly right, or else they gonna hear from the goddess very soon. Okay, I gotta go, y'all. Y'all need to reach me. My Etsy is gone. It's on vacation until I've got to pay a balance with Etsy because they infiltrated my Etsy shop. Okay, one person out of all of the reviews that I have on Etsy, one person came and infiltrated my shop. So right now I'm working with Cashapp, Venmo, and Zelle, or either Western Union. Get at me if y'all want some real work. Because anybody that would work for 6 or 7 years to try to steal and discredit somebody and continuously do it, obviously I am authentic. Especially when I moved into this house, they went straight into action to try to destroy what I built. And these are my babies. These are my children and their place of residence that these people have been attacking me in. Because they're too cowardly to stand up to their own demons. They put it all off on me. Okay. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Peace and love.